The crystalline halls of the Zephyrian Palace gleamed under the light of 3 moons, casting prismatic shadows across the polished floors. Princess Aliana stood at the observation deck, her violet skin shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that betrayed her anxiety. Behind her, the human bodyguard assigned by the Galactic Council remained silent, his brown eyes scanning the perimeter with methodical precision. James had arrived on Zephyria Prime 3 cycles ago, one of the few humans granted permission to serve in the Royal Guard. Most species in the galaxy viewed humanity with a mixture of curiosity and dismissal, a young race, barely spacefaring, with no remarkable physical adaptations or psychic abilities. They were average in every measurable way, or so the data suggested. Human. Aliana's melodic voice cut through the silence, though she didn't turn to face him. The Council sent you as my protector. But I must ask, can you truly defend me? James remained at attention, his posture unwavering. Your Highness, I am here to ensure your safety. She finally turned, her 4 eyes studying him with unconcealed skepticism. At nearly 8 feet tall, she towered over his 6-foot frame. Her people, the Zephyrians, were known throughout the galaxy for their grace and diplomatic prowess, not their combat abilities. That's why they needed guards. But this human seemed so ordinary. The Crithian death squads are hunting me, she said, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. They've killed 17 royal guards already, warriors from species far stronger than yours. Draxians with their armored hides, Voltari with their plasma generation abilities, even a Titan-class android. She stepped closer, her bioluminescence pulsing anxiously. You carry no visible weapons. You have no armor. Your species has no natural defenses. So I ask again, can you defend me? James met her gaze steadily. I can, Your Highness. Ow. The question came out sharper than she intended. Forgive my bluntness, but your assignment makes no sense. Every scan shows you're physically weaker than a Draxian, slower than a Voltari, less durable than the android. What could the Council possibly be thinking? With respect, Princess, those scans don't tell the whole story. James allowed himself a slight smile. Humans have something that doesn't show up on biological readouts. Before Aliana could respond, the palace lights flickered. Emergency klaxons wailed through the corridors. James moved instantly, placing himself between the princess and the door, his hand moving to the seemingly decorative bracelet on his wrist. They're here, she breathed, her skin flashing white with fear. The observation deck doors exploded inward. 3 Crithian assassins entered, massive reptilian beings covered in natural armor plating, each wielding plasma cleavers that could cut through starship hulls. They were engineered killing machines, products of centuries of selective breeding for warfare. Stand aside, human, the lead Crithian hissed, his translator rendering his words in cold, mechanical tones. Your death is not required. Only hers. James didn't move. Leave now and you'll live. The Crithian laughed, a sound like grinding stones. Bold words from prey. He gestured to his companions. Kill them both. What happened next would be analyzed by military strategists across the galaxy for years to come. The first assassin charged with speeds that should have been impossible for a creature his size. James sidestepped with minimal movement, his hand shooting out to grip the Crithian's wrist. There was a sickening crack as bones that could withstand plasma fire shattered under human fingers. Before the assassin could scream, James had redirected his momentum, using the creature's own mass to slam him into the crystalline wall with enough force to spiderweb the reinforced material. The second assassin fired a plasma burst. James had already moved, the bolt scorching empty air where he'd stood a microsecond before. His bracelet morphed, extending into a matte black combat knife. Simple, primitive, and devastatingly effective in trained hands. He closed the distance before the Crithian could fire again, the blade finding the precise gaps in the natural armor that even the assassin didn't know existed. The creature fell, clutching at wounds that shouldn't have been possible to inflict. The lead assassin had seen enough. He activated his personal shield generator, military-grade technology that could deflect most known weapons. Impossible, he snarled. Humans are weak. No, James said quietly, advancing with measured steps. We're endurance hunters, persisters, adapters. We're not the strongest or the fastest. He feinted left, and when the Crithian committed to blocking, James was already moving right. But we've been fighting and killing for longer than your species has had written language. His blade found another gap in the armor. The shield flickered and died. "We don't just train for combat," James continued, his voice never rising above conversational tones, even as he systematically dismantled a being designed for war. "We've been doing it for survival since before we learned to make fire. It's in our bones, our instincts. Every human carries the legacy of 10,000 generations of survivors." The lead Creathian swung his plasma cleaver in a desperate arc. James caught his arm, twisted, and the weapon clattered to the floor. With a final precise strike, the assassin joined his companions in unconsciousness. The entire engagement had lasted 14 seconds. Silence returned to the observation deck, broken only by the sound of Aliana's rapid breathing. James straightened, the knife retracting back into a bracelet, and turned to face her. "Your Highness, are you unharmed?" Aliana stared at the three fallen assassins, then at the human who stood before her without even breathing hard. Her bioluminescence had shifted to a deep blue, the Zephyrian expression of profound respect. She started, then stopped. The council knew. "Yes, Your Highness. Those scans that showed humans as average, they measured the wrong things." James nodded. "They measured our limits. They didn't measure our experience, our adaptability, or our unwillingness to quit. Humans don't win because we're the strongest. We win because we refuse to lose." Aliana stepped forward, placing her hand over her heart in the Zephyrian gesture of deepest gratitude. "I questioned whether you could defend me, human. I will not make that mistake again." "James," he said softly. "My name is James, Your Highness." "Then thank you, James." She looked at the fallen assassins again. Humanity, indeed. As security teams arrived to secure the area, Princess Aliana understood why the Galactic Council had chosen this particular species to guard their most precious individuals. Humans weren't physically superior, but they possessed something far more dangerous: the accumulated experience of being Earth's apex predator, refined through millions of years of survival against impossible odds. She had asked if he could defend her. He had answered not with words, but with the undeniable proof that humanity's greatest strength had never been physical at all. It was their refusal to accept defeat.